Yep.
Wow.
What about court updates? One more time for 3D Politics. If you're just tuning in, Tom McKay, David Vann, David Oldham. Tell us about the court updates.
All right. Well, we actually this was not ready to go to press Monday. We were covering, you and I, Oldham, about what's going on down in Lawton, Comanche County. Elderly man lives, I say elderly, he's in his 50s. That's a young pup. Okay. He lives by himself. He evidently has a history dealing with anxiety and stuff. So he gets his medical card, medical marijuana, to grow his own and to, consume, to buy and all that. He lives alone. And he gets busted in October 4th at 6:10 a.m. According to his documentation, it was a no-knock raid. And now, let me just a little background here. If you are a licensed patient in Oklahoma, you can grow 12 marijuana plants. Only 6 of them can be in flowering stage. Well, they yanked up 8 plants in his backyard that they, I guess, claim were all in flowering stage. I don't know. Problem is, the Lawton police are not forthcoming with the details, yet they've locked this man up for 4 months now. Okay? Wow. And they are...
For a misdemeanor,
okay.
Right? Isn't this a misdemeanor?
No, actually, they found a bottle of prescription pills in his house that had somebody else's name on it, so they're calling that a felony.
So therefore he's a dealer, so that makes it a felony.
He has Ziploc baggies. That's the question.
He had Ziploc baggies, and that means he's a distributor.
It doesn't mean he makes sandwiches at all.
You're right. Not-for-profit dealer.
Yeah, I know. And so what's going on here, they said, well, he had scales too. Mind you, the law says if you are a patient, you can have only so many ounces. How do you know?
Right.
You better have a good scale, patients. Okay? So, he has scales. That means he's a dealer, right? And all these things, they have not produced a single customer yet who's bought anything from him. Mind you, the best...
They didn't say he was a good salesman.
Right.
And I know Weight Watchers who have scales.
Okay. Now, he's got a gun collection. And they had them in a safe, most of them.
Right.
Oh, so that's why they're interested
But again, there's nothing wrong with having a gun by your bed. This is Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
But they take all of his guns, not just take them into their own... The asset forfeiture, they have been surrendered now without trying him.
Well, that's because they have tried the guns.
Yeah.
The guns are guilty.
You mean they tried them?
What?
Well,
they didn't harm anybody.
That's the whole point, is that of asset forfeiture, it's not your property. Your property goes on to trial. It's not you that has to go to trial to lose your property. Your property is its separate entity.
But they can't find anybody who's been shot by one of the guns.
I thought
or any crime that's happened with that gun.
No, they were all part and parcel of the illegal dealing.
Yeah. So this is the problem we've got here. Is now
they were co-conspirators.
Now he's allowed to have 8 plants. They ripped up all 8 of them out of the roots. And here's the important thing: most people won't know this, but I, an informed medical marijuana expert,
the other day.
A guy who knows the illegal statutes like the back of his hand.
And you're allowed to have 6 plants in full bloom. Here's the thing: the one time of the year, Tom, that unless you've got an expensive greenhouse and all this artificial lighting,
seasonal.
The one time you can grow a good harvest of the best medicine is going to be right around the beginning of fall and going into October. When did they bust him? Right in the first week of October.
Right.
Exactly. He lost probably $3,000 worth of his medicine by them yanking it up and taking it. Okay, mind you, even if they say he had 8 that were in flowering stage, fine, take the other 2, but leave his 6 that he's allowed to have.
Right.
So, and this is
kind of like kind of like when you find the children are actually healthy and not abused and malnourished, you should return them to the parents.
And the money notwithstanding, time is the more limited resource. He spent the time growing those. They don't pop up overnight.
Well, there's that
you got to
too.
take the time. It's not just the money of the street value of whatever came off of them.
Yeah, and a lot of us advocates and and patients, and because there's 250,000 patients in Oklahoma now, and we're learning this, and you might be better than you thought. And you might be reaping a nice harvest that all of a sudden it's getting you up against those limits that you're allowed to have in your home.
Oh, you better
which is about a half a pound.
You better throw those extra plants and those extra flowers into the fire.
We have a service that'll come by and pick them up.
And so this
is it
the problem.
licensed?
Now
it will be.
Now here's the thing: they're saying the non-compliant hemp or marijuana. Which I think, at best case, they say you surrender that which is in excess. Instead, they gave him a $20,000 bond.
Right.
But they took his gun collection, which is the one thing he couldn't use.
Which is worth up to another 20 grand-ish.
So, Bondsman Association of Oklahoma, this is an issue. And I'm with you on this. When the cops start taking the people's asset so that they can't afford bond, they took $549 of his possession too, because they tell him that's drug money.
Let me just back.
So they took his actual money.
Yes, they took that too, and that's gone in asset forfeiture now too.
In reverse form, typically what Oldham is speaking about is we don't like licensing and registration because what does it lead to?
No, that's not why we don't like it.
Well, you can say no, but I'm still going to make my point.
Okay.
The fact is that this guy had the guns. There's a likely point to be made that they were interested in him because he had things they knew he had because those guns were licensed and registered.
And they stayed in his home.
I'm just saying they knew he had the guns because they were licensed, registered. That's your
we don't actually know what the police motive was for all of this.
Not.
Yeah. And this is a problem. And let me say to that point, normally when the police make a big drug bust, they call the media. They're proud of what they did. They told nobody.
Right.
This came in a handwritten note that somehow got, smuggled or handed out of the jail, the county jail where he's at. He can't afford an attorney.
Right.
He's going without. He's elderly. He's got mental health issues.
He should have a public defender because it is a criminal issue. But
David, you're so naive.
I know, I am. But But of course, public defenders don't do much for you.
I know that's the point.
They tell you to plead out.
Well, here's the thing: until he actually goes to trial, how do we know they're even going to show up?
Well,
they have put off his trial. He doesn't have a trial date yet. They keep doing continuances. They have their own problems between the DA and the judges.
Well, see, that is not allowable because, and I've seen that a lot in Oklahoma. Now, when I came from California.
Yeah.
And in California, if you get your day in court, and if the prosecution doesn't show up, then it's done. You're done because they didn't show up.
Yeah.
They don't give you this perpetual continuance because we had a problem, we couldn't show up. Because unfortunately, that means that's a hindrance to the defendant.
Right.
And the defendant has a right to a speedy trial.
Yeah, so we've got to look at, but I looked at some of the medicines. They're all anti-anxiety meds. They're not highly addictive stuff that is in there. I mean, the guy, and he has a past record of, he used to use liquor as a self-medicating, something to calm him. And that now he's moved over to medical marijuana, which is good. Any doctor in Oklahoma ought to tell you marijuana is not nearly as dangerous as alcohol. Wrapping up the Keith Davis story there, that's we're still waiting for the cops to give us a narrative.
You know what? We need to take a trip to Lawton and go visit the guy.
So, yeah.
Interview. Do not interview.
Look, and
I'm thinking of very strongly of doing that.
Yeah, if you're an attorney in the Lawton area, I can think of no better person right now who needs a friend who give him some legal counsel.
Needs some pro bono.
They continue to rob him of the most limited resource, and that is time.
Yes.
He's sitting there.
And the sad thing is, they picked on a very vulnerable target. This is a man who lives alone. He has an anxiety issue that, or at least it appears from looking at the evidence they put up here. And I looked at his Facebook post. He's got a pool table, and he loves to invite people over to play pool. He would rather be in his place than down at the bar, and that's probably
That's actually a good thing.
Yeah, and
Isn't that what our parents kept saying?
Inhospitable, and I don't know. We'll find the narrative on this. But I talked to one of my friends who's kind of a law and order guy. Wasn't big on the medical marijuana or even the 780, 781.
You mean a fake law and order guy?
Well, I know.
An illegal law and order
I
guy.
won't. But, he says, you would have to be really bad to really serve time on marijuana. And, is that...
Ask the guy who served 4 months already.
Well, yeah, and I said, and he agreed with me. He says, yeah, something about this doesn't add up. They better come up with some evidence of him selling to kids in the neighborhood or something to justify what they've done.
Even that, I mean, no, not that selling to kids is all right, but the point is, even that is a protected behavior. The thing is, because you could sell to a kid if you had the parents' permission. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, now you're not speaking statutorily currently. You're talking the constitutional principles.
I'm talking constitutional because that's the only thing that matters. The statutes, well, it is.